Hello, Sunshine Quilters. If you can believe it, this is it. We're at our last week. What am I going to do without all of you? I love commenting on the Facebook group, and I've been getting a few phone calls here and there that I feel like I've become friends with all of you. And I can't believe we're pretty much done. This week we are just finishing up. We are putting the rows together if you haven't done that already, and I can see that the secret's out. The Facebook group, I can see that several of you have figured out the quilt, and of course, makes sense that you would. So if you haven't assembled your rows, that is this week. And then we are also putting our inside and outside borders on. Pretty easy week, but it also does allow you to kind of catch up if you're still a little bit behind on your actual blocks. So lots of comments. Can we see where you're at in your quilt now on the Facebook group? And I think we're all really excited to see finished quilts. So if you do get yours done, and actually regardless of when you do, post on the Facebook group because inquiring minds want to know, and show us your progress and your finished quilt. We would really appreciate that. The full pattern is being printed right now professionally, and it will be available for sale next week. So we're just going to give this last week of catching up and getting our quilts done because our group is still running. And then I will make that full pattern available. I know you all have it if you've been printing your clues, but if for any reason you'd really like the whole thing printed with the corrections, any little small corrections are made, that will be available at the website for Calico Hutch, and you can just stop in or order online if you're interested. It was really nice to have such a large number of people participate, and I always take a collective breath before we begin one of these, because as much as we proof and try and read over and over and make the sample 5 times, somehow little mistakes find their way in, and it just astonishes me that it could be possible. But we did find, I would say, 3 minor things in this pattern that we made corrections to, and so I so much appreciate that you were patient with that, but at the same time able to continue forward. None of them were gonna stop you in your quilt, but they definitely, they were there, so we got them handled. The next thing I wanted to mention is that I'm going to post a questionnaire, and it will be in your email this week and then also on the Facebook group. I would really appreciate if you could take the time to complete that for me. It helps me know what I can do in the future to make a sew along better. A couple little questions about the quilt, the information, how it was distributed to you. What else is in there? Whether my communication was effective, whether the tutorials were effective. Pretty basic questions, but they really make a difference for me. So if you, and they're anonymous, so if you take the time to complete that, it will provide important feedback for me. And the last thing I want to say is I'm listening right now to a 5-week mini class on surface design with Bonnie Christine. I don't know if you all know who she is, but she designs for art gallery fabrics, and she's actually a fabric designer. But she's talking about creativity right now, and actually surface design is what she does. And surface design is, if you look around anywhere in your life, anything that has a design on it, whether it's wallpaper or dishes or pot holders or curtains, anything that has design on it, that's called surface design. So that's what she does. But in the process of her teaching, I thought one of her lessons was so valuable and really applied perfectly to what we've been doing over these last weeks. So she talks about a path to growth that applies to me as a pattern writer, as a person running a sew along, and also it applies to you as a quilter and as someone who's building their skills always as a quilter, which I am as well. So she says that there are these stages for what we call flourishing, and we are all kind of like the evolution of a flower or a tree. And we start out as this tiny little sprout. We're a little seed, and we start out as a little sprout, and then we turn into a bud. Then our root system it expands, and then we bloom. And at that time, we are fully able to kind of flourish. And so as a quilter, the challenge for me as a pattern writer, is to find a pattern that you can be a little sprout, and you're not a master quilter, but you have the framework for being a sewer, and you can still make this quilt. And it's going to need a little bit of water, and it's going to need some nutrients because it needs that support system to grow. And I hope that if you were what we would call a little sprout in this process, I hope that you are still able to accomplish this quilt, and you were given good information, good tutorials, a whole overall package that allowed you to complete this project and grow and expand and be a little bit better for the next quilt that you make, but also feel good and supported, and that you've received those nutrients. And then also, if you are a bloom and you're this big, beautiful flower that's in full show, and you make quilts, and you just really have like the perfect eye for detail, I hope that you were also still able to create a pattern that challenged you, that you really like, and that at the end of this process, you felt that it was worth your time as well. So in the whole process, we all need a little bit of sprinkle of sunshine. We all need the warmth and comfort and support, and we need to know that we're given every single thing we need to grow as quilters. And that applies to me, and it also applies to me as a pattern writer and someone who is putting a pattern out there to you in a way that allows you to have everything you need to complete it. It's a challenging on every level, and if you're a visual learner or a person who just can read, and a print learner, that everything was coming together and clicking and working for you. So I hope that I provided just a teeny little bit of sunshine for your sunshine quilt. And I want to thank you just one last time from the bottom of my heart for participating. I hope you love your pattern. I do love this pattern so much. I think it's beautiful and works in, as you can see, lots and lots of different fabric combinations. And I am super inspired to make a whole nother one in another colorway just from seeing yours posted in the group. So if you need anything going forward, if you're still working on your pattern and you get a little down the road and are slowly catching up and you need some assistance, please reach out and contact me. I really want everyone to enjoy this quilt and the sew along. So I will look forward to a little feedback if you decide to join in the questionnaire. And thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure and a privilege. All right, happy sewing, everyone. One last time. Bye-bye.